I worked at Walmart about 13 years ago, at one of the few stores left that closed overnight. It was a regular old Walmart, not a super. I worked overnight stocking. I liked it. I only had to deal with customers for a couple hours before the store closed. And I just stocked shelves, mainly worked in the automotive department, and the nights would go by pretty fast. I worked with a bunch of people who were related to each other. There was the dad, Steve, his wife, his sister's wife, and his stepdaughter who worked there during the day in the jewelry department. Steve stocked the sporting goods right next to me. This was really gross. He would constantly pop over to my section and ask me if I needed help lifting stuff onto the overstock shelves. He would make comments about how pretty I was, and how if he was 10 years younger, he'd date me. He was pushing 50, and I was just a 19-year-old girl. I just laughed off his comments, and I would say I didn't need help, and I was perfectly happy with my boyfriend. Thank you. One night, he decided to tell me how big his penis was. He told me a story, probably a lie, about how one day he was getting out of the shower and his stepdaughter, who was 17 at the time, saw him accidentally and exclaimed how nice his penis was and how she wanted to try it out. I was dumbfounded and I did not know what to say. I just said, "Oh well, I gotta get back to work," and shuffled away. About a week later, he was caught having sex with his wife's sister in the bathroom at work. They were both fired. His wife quit. His stepdaughter continued to work there, though. I worked at Walmart 11 years ago for a whopping total of 8 months. I worked the overnight shift as a stalker for the pets department. The store I worked at had just gotten brand new high-rise shelves installed. They said they were able to hold over a ton. Well, one night after getting my regular freight stocked, all the overstock put into the bins, my bosses had me pull 8 pallets of Arm & Hammer cat litter. The boxes had a bonus 10 pounds inside, making them nearly 35 pounds or so apiece. They wanted all of those on the high-risers. I asked if they were absolutely sure the shelves would be able to hold all that weight. I threw a shit fit about it. I knew I was in the right for being worried. Other department managers who were there also sided with me. They watched over the next couple of hours as I carefully did my job. As I was putting the final 12 boxes on the bottom shelf, I heard a cracking and tearing sound. Next thing I know is I'm buried underneath all of the cat litter that caused the shelf to collapse. Everyone in the store heard it, and everyone was explicitly told not to call 911 or anything. Fuck that shit. After getting all my blood cleaned from my face and cuts patched up, I called my uncle's then girlfriend, who was a lawyer, told her what had just happened and what the upper management is trying to do. As of today, I still haven't spent all the money I received as a result of going to court over it. Fuck Walmart. This guy came in and said he lost his remote, so he needed a new TV. I asked him if his TV was broken. He said it wasn't. He just didn't want to bother finding it. So he wanted a new TV. I showed him our selection of universal remotes. He responded with, "But then I'd have to program it, and the new TV just comes with a pre-programmed remote." So, sold the guy a 50-inch TV. I used to work at Walmart, and it was a surprisingly ho-hum place compared to all the other Walmarts in America. Our photo center is in the back, leads directly to the back of the Walmart, and has a set of restrooms there. It was the quickest way to get to the break room from where I worked, so I passed through there often. One day, there was a bit of ruckus going on in the photo center. I passed by, and the entire area was walled off with a crime scene tape, and a bunch of shelves had been moved to block both the path and the view into the photo center. What happened is some lady had gone into the restroom, given birth, drowned the baby. The janitor had gone to clean it up and found the body. They never found the mother. She just left the store like nothing happened. Makes me sick thinking about it, but that's my crazy story. One night, a drunk woman dropped her pants and took a piss right outside our electronics department because the guy cleaning the bathroom wouldn't let her in. On a separate night, a woman couldn't hold it in and pooped the whole way to the bathroom from the front door. I used to work in the garden center at Walmart. There was an apartment complex on the other side of our fence. I noticed a guy standing by the fence on the outside in the apartment complex, and about 10 minutes later, another guy comes running from in the store, TV in hand, chucks it over the 10-foot fence. His friend caught it and took off running into the complex. I think those guys earned that TV. Out of high school, I got a job at my local Walmart as a cart pusher. Anyways, it was almost closing time. I ended up helping a customer take out some groceries. Right behind the customer service / the exit was what appeared to be the top of a chocolate ice cream swirl, and all on the ground. I assumed it fell off someone's ice cream cone from McDonald's. I holler that I'll be right back to clean it up. I get back inside, notice this ice cream has not melted one bit. Curiosity got the best of me, so I decided to lean down and get a whiff of it, just to confirm it was ice cream. It was not ice cream. Somehow, someone managed to drop a turd in plain view with an ice cream swirl shape. That was 10 years ago, and it still blows my mind. I was unloading a freight truck at the time, and the woman that works at the fabric counter calls over the intercom for a manager. Then maybe 2 minutes go by and she yells for management on the intercom again, and it's clear by the tone of her voice that something is going down. Then, about 20 seconds later, all I hear over the intercom is help. Some of us are about to go see what's going on, but our manager says he'll take care of it. Turns out 2 sisters and their kids were tearing apart the store. The sisters were eating food right out of the bags. One of the kids was throwing jars of baby food at the wall, and the rest were opening items off the shelves. The yell for help came when the oldest kid proceeded to piss on the carpet in the clothing department, and when the 2 sisters were confronted with this, they just laughed about it and said it was our job to clean it up. They got banned from the store, and I was told the police forcefully removed them. Former Walmart employee from Florida checking in. Walmart was my first job at 18, and with most new employees, I got stuck with the crappy third shift for the first few months. As a cashier on third shift, my job was mostly to stay awake and zone my area. Staying awake was almost never an issue though, because at precisely 1:30 in the morning, I would get the Bumblebee as a visitor. The Bumblebee was an old woman wearing a bee costume, stinger wings, and everything. She was never outrageous in her behavior. She never purchased anything, which was weird. She was just a bee, and I never asked why. When I got moved off third shift, they stuck me in the liquor store. That was fine once I got used to the regulars, like the guy who would dump an entire bag of change on the counter and ask, "How much do I have? How much can I get?" and would sometimes ride his bike into and through the liquor store because he didn't feel like stopping. I lived in a really redneck area, so there was a guy who would ride his horse up to the liquor store to buy his 99 bananas and then ride home. I always felt bad for the horse because it looked hot and tired. But I guess the guy's license had been taken away years before, so riding a horse is the way to go if you've gotten one too many DUIs.